Let's take a look at getting the data from the NREL sheet into SolidWorks. And you saw I had Excel up, but I'm going to start with the data sheet here. Cut and paste the data here into Notepad, save it as a text file. And it has the XY points. Now you need XYZ, so you could go in and edit this and add the zeros, but that's probably a lot of work. What I would do instead is here in Excel, open a new spreadsheet. Go to where you ever have it stored, in my case, in downloads, and bring in the text file. Open it up, and you'll notice we want to limit it, so we want to knock it into columns. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use spaces. So it'll recognize a space between the numbers as the column, and you'll see two columns here. As long as that's clicked, you don't need the tab because they used a space. And there it is, 1, 2. General data, we can change it to numbers later. That's really not an issue. And there's your X and Y. And to get the Z, you simply need to just enter it in. So you could, let's say you want this at the Z equals 0. If you want it somewhere else, put in a different number. But just put in that 0 and then copy that by dragging all the way down to the end of your data sheet. And you now have your X, Y, and Z data points. Let's save this. So we go curve through XYZ points, browse to the file, making sure everything's closed, otherwise it won't work. The type is text file, and I saved it as converted text, so this is the one from Excel, and this has the XYZ data points, as you can see here. If it's successful, you'll see the data points show up here on the side, and you'll see the airfoil shape. So we'll say go ahead and accept that, and done. So what you have now is, let's click that out of our way, shall we? There's the airfoil. And we could bring in the next one at a different Z and keep going, but you really don't have to. Let's say we want to start with this one, and let's, just for interest, put a couple profiles on and shrink each of them 2% from the previous one. How are we going to do that? Well, let me create a couple of datum planes. And I will start from the front plane here, and I'm going to go the opposite direction, so I'll flip offset, and I'll go 2 inches in the other direction, and I will make 2 of those 2 inches apart, so like that. And you notice I can make multiple planes at once, if you had forgotten that. So there we go. So now I'll go to plane 1 and I'll make a sketch. And I'll simply grab my airfoil shape and go convert entities. And that brings it into the sketch. But I want to make that larger. So what I can do is grab all of that, and then under Tools, I can go Sketch Tools, and I can scale. I can also rotate if I want to put pitch on it, but let's just start with scale. And we said we wanted to make it 0.98. And we'll scale about the origin, so we should pick the origin as the scaling point. There we go. And we'll scale it 0.98, so that'll be 2% smaller. And there it was. So that's now 2% smaller. And I could do that again. I could then go on to plane 2, make a sketch, start with my curve, convert it, then go Tools, Sketch Tools, Scale, and entities to scale will be all those points. I'll scale about the origin, And instead of 98, I'll now make it 96. So I'll make it a little smaller. And I just made it smaller. And we could go back and change those scales later. And then when I'm ready to go here, I can go feature, get out of the sketch. I can go feature loft from here. Well, no, it went clear selections. Start here, go to here. Yeah, I love it when it does that. Let's try there. Oh, that's much better, huh? And then go to here. And I'm not using any guide curves in this case because I haven't rotated anything. Remember, you could go in and you could sketch guide curves between here, and I can do a video on that if you'd like, and I'll accept that. And there's a pretty good profile. And you'll notice that the backside is just a little bit smaller by about 4%. You can see it if I line it up that way. You can see that it's sloping downwards. So we got that little bit of change, you know, just 2% for every 2 inches. And there's a 4-inch long blade with 4% of shrinkage. So you can bring the first curve in, and then you can use convert entities to put them into sketches and then manipulate those sketches, and you should be in great shape.